All righty, welcome back to The Factor Uncensored. We've been covering the Sean Diddy Combs sex trafficking trial all week long. Many of the major bombshells have come from one of its star witnesses, singer Cassie Ventura. She has spent time on the stand sharing going into more graphic details about the alleged abuse she endured with her ex Diddy, including how brutal those alleged freak-off sessions with multiple male sex workers were for her. Her husband, Alex was also in the courtroom to hear all of this. In the past, he's expressed support for her. We wonder, what could it be like for him to hear his wife share this testimony as the world also hears about it? Joining us to talk about it, therapist Dr. Bernadette Smith. You know, Dr. Smith, I don't care how much you love someone. If you hear all of that stuff, it's got to send chills down your spine. May not break you up, may not stop you from loving them, but it's got to be just a whole sack of bricks to hold.
Yeah. You know, I think that goes to a couple of things. I think the testament to their relationship and the bond that they've created, but also him and his security as a partner and a man holding space for her so that she can feel safe to even share. Because it's my understanding that she also shared with him prior to all of this coming out and being shared with the public. So this probably isn't the first time that he's hearing this.
But he's hearing it in great detail. And also he's hearing it while the world is hearing it. And you can't help but think, he's thinking, what does the world think about me now as well?
A part of me wonders though, like, yes, maybe he's wondering what is the world thinking about me, but I also wondering if maybe he's thinking more so about the helplessness that might go along with not being able to help and support the person who you love. Right? And so I'm going to make the assumption that he is a very safe person for her because, again, she had already shared with him what had happened. Now, the details to which, and I imagine that they probably prepared him for some of that, you know, anyway, even if she didn't share all the specific details.
And typically, would an attorney do that, or maybe someone in the family, or a confidant? Okay, look, get ready for this.
And it depends, right? And again, so I definitely would hope that a competent attorney would help to provide support and legal advice on what to do as they're going into those testimonies, so that they can show up and show the support that is needed in that time.
So what would be your advice to someone who may be in a situation like this when they hear, or, you know, life? You can hear stuff about your loved one, your partner, even without having to go through a criminal case. But you're in a different place now. So how do you deal with that personally?
So there's something called vicarious trauma, and so it's the symptoms of having trauma after hearing somebody else's story. And so that is definitely something very real and very plausible for him or other people who are hearing a loved one's trauma. And so with that is also you seeking out the support so that you can process through those feelings and it's not internalizing and manifesting in a negative way. I think the other thing then becomes, right, like looking at how then are you going to provide support. One of the things that I think becomes important is when somebody is sharing that type of trauma that they experienced, it's important to not make it about you because it's still their story, their experience, and still being able to hold space and support for them.
But so you know we're human.
Correct. We are human, right? But then you also have to think about, okay, I love this person. Right? And what does that empathetic lens look like? Now, I have no expectation for people outside of her circle. But inside of the circle, if I'm sharing something traumatic that I've experienced, my expectation for people inside of my circle is to hold space for me, hold empathetic space for me, so that I can continue to grow in that. If that then becomes hard for you, right, as a listener, somebody trying to hold support, I think it becomes important to be able to identify that and then look at how you might need to shift hearing that information or how you want to show up for that person.
And in the last 30 seconds that we have, once testimony in this case or a regular person, they hear something, how important is that you continue to treat that loved one the same?
Absolutely. Absolutely. The trauma.
I know strange look like, I know what you did.
But again, we also have to, I'm looking at it from a lens of this is She was 19 when she started dating him, right? And so there's a lot of, intimate partner violence at play that goes into that, and just understanding that, yes, we all have a past. Yes, we all make mistakes, but who is this person now? I'm not, the past does not have to define who I am. It contributes to who I am, but it's not who I am.
All right, Dr. Smith, always good to see you.
It's
Thank
always
you
good to
for
see you too.
your great advice.